Breaking the silence. ATP chairman exposes governance rift as Gauff, Sinner, and Świątek rally for game-changing reform. For years, tennis fans saw only the gleaming trophies, the roaring stadiums, and the poetry of movement played out on the world's biggest courts. But behind the glamour existed a fracture, one so deep it quietly shaped decisions, schedules, player welfare, and the future of the sport itself. For decades, tennis insiders whispered about it. Journalists speculated. Retired champions hinted. But no one dared go public. Not until today. In a moment that shook the tennis world to its foundations, the ATP chairman, normally a figure of political diplomacy and guarded neutrality, stepped in front of a crowded room of reporters in Monaco and broke the silence. With a steady voice and trembling hands, he exposed a governance rift that players had long complained about but never fully articulated. And within hours, three of the sport's biggest names, Coco Gauff, Jannik Sinner, and Iga Świątek, ignited a firestorm of player-driven reform unlike anything tennis had ever seen. This was no ordinary press conference. This was a rebellion, and it would change tennis forever. The moment the chairman spoke out, the press hall at the ATP headquarters was tense even before the chairman stepped up to the podium. Whispers of unexpected announcement and internal conflict filled the room. Nobody knew what he was about to say, but everyone sensed that something significant was coming. Then he said the words that stopped the entire tennis world cold. We no longer have a governance issue. We have a governance crisis. Gasps filled the room. Cameras instantly lit up. Journalists scrambled for their phones. Social media exploded. The chairman continued, voice heavy with frustration. For too long, certain stakeholders have acted out of self-interest, blocking reforms that would secure the sport's future. Player welfare, tournament structure, and scheduling fairness have been ignored. Decisions are made without transparency and without the consent of those who make this sport what it is, the players. It was the most direct attack any ATP leader had ever made toward the private entities, federations, and board members who often tugged the sport in conflicting directions. Today, he said, I am asking the top players, men and women, to join me in pushing for the reform tennis needs. He called their names one by one. Coco Gauff, Jannik Sinner, Iga Świątek. And in that moment, a movement was born, how the rift grew, and why IT couldn't be hidden any longer. To casual fans, tennis governance seemed straightforward. But to those inside the system, it was a maze of bureaucracy, competing interests, and political tug-of-war. The ATP and WTA operated separately. Grand Slams had their own boards. National federations controlled their own tournaments. Tournament directors pursued profits over player health. Sponsors pressed for longer schedules and bigger viewership numbers. Players? They remained the engine powering everything, yet the least protected voice. The chairman revealed a series of troubling details. Proposals to shorten the season for injury prevention were rejected. Requests to simplify rankings and reduce overload were blocked. Player council concerns on mental health were ignored. Calls for equal representation during decision-making were denied. The rift wasn't new, but the silence surrounding it was. Until today, Gauff responds first, and her words set the tone. Within minutes of the chairman's announcement, Coco Gauff released a written statement on her social platforms. She didn't mince words. If players are the heartbeat of tennis, then governance must stop cutting the circulation. The line instantly went viral. Gauff had long advocated for mental health, player rights, and equitable scheduling. She had spoken out after long night matches, expressed concerns over burnout, and questioned why athletes had so little say in their own sport. But this time, she wasn't alone. Świątek joins with a call for unity. Iga Świątek, calm yet firm, held her own press call that evening. Tennis is global. Governance shouldn't be divided. Men and women face the same courts, the same pressures, the same expectations. Reform must be unified. She proposed that the ATP, WTA, and Slam committees hold a joint summit for the first time in history, a summit led not by executives, but by the players themselves. Her tone wasn't rebellious. It was determined, measured, unshakable. Świątek wasn't merely reacting. She was leading, and the world noticed. The surprising voice that shifted the landscape, Jannik Sinner. Hours later, Jannik Sinner, usually reserved, soft-spoken, and disinterested in controversy, posted a video that stunned fans. Standing beside a practice court in Monte Carlo, he looked into the camera and said, "We love this sport, but loving something means wanting to grow, not watching it break." He talked openly about grueling schedules, injury risks, late-night matches, and emotional burden on players who lacked adequate rest or support. We are not asking for favors. We are asking for fairness. For Sinner to speak with such intensity, such clarity, it was unprecedented, and it proved just how serious the moment was. The big three of reform. Why it had to be Gauff, Świątek, and Sinner. Tennis had seen player rebellions before, from Billie Jean King's bold fight for gender equality to Novak Djokovic's push for player representation. But never before had three young stars, all under 25, risen together in such unified fashion. Coco Gauff, the voice of the next generation, articulate, courageous, unafraid to challenge power. Iga Świątek, a world number one with unmatched emotional intelligence, admired for her thoughtfulness and strategy. Jannik Sinner, the quiet force, the symbol of integrity, representing the future of men's tennis. They were not rebels. They were architects. And the chairman's call had turned them into global catalysts. The tennis earthquake. How fans, journalists, and players reacted. By midnight, the sports world was in full eruption. Players react. Over 100 ATP and WDA athletes signed an open letter supporting reform. Veterans like Andy Murray voiced support. The sport is at a crossroads. Proud of these young leaders. Naomi Osaka tweeted, "Long overdue. Players deserve a seat at the table." Even Rafael Nadal, known for diplomacy, released a rare political comment. What comes next? A sport transformed. By the end of the month, officials from all governing bodies agreed to a global summit, the first of its kind, in Dubai. Gauff, Świątek, and Sinner were invited to lead the opening session. Not attend, not observe, lead. The chairman's once controversial speech had sparked a revolution, a peaceful one, a necessary one that would shape the sport for generations. Epilogue. Tennis finally listens. The headlines changed. From chaos to clarity. From crisis to collaboration. From silence to voice. Tennis had always produced champions. But today, it produced something even rarer. Leaders. And as Coco Gauff, Jannik Sinner, and Iga Świątek stepped into their roles as reformers, one truth became clear. This was not the end of an era. It was the beginning of one. A new chapter, a new direction, a new tennis. Rebuilt from the ground up with truth, courage, and vision. The silence had been broken, and the game would never be the same. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share. Till next time.